What's going on, brothers? I hope you're all having a blessed day today. I want you to imagine that you're in this forest, you're in this wilderness, and you're lost in this wilderness. You've got nothing on you save for a small amount of food and provisions. So you're wandering around this wilderness and you have a vague sense, like in the back of your mind, you've got this vague idea of what you're looking for. You've got this vague destination in your mind. And so you're walking along, getting ever so closer to whatever it is you're seeking. And as you're doing that, a man appears. The man calls out to you and he says, "Come follow me. I can take you to your destination." So you think about it for a second. In the back of your mind, you're almost certain that the path you're on now is going to take you to where you need to go. But against your better judgment, you decide, I can just follow this guy. What's the worst that can happen? So you're following the man for a good while, and he says to you, "Oh, it's just a little longer." So you end up at this cave. And so this man says, "Oh, I need to take a quick stop at the cave to get some things, and then I can take you to your destination." So he goes inside the cave, and as you're staring into the cave, all of a sudden, bam! His friends jump out of nowhere, and they jump you. They beat you up. You're on the ground. You're getting kicked. You're getting pummeled. They're yelling, "Fight back! Fight back!" And there's absolutely nothing you can do. So the man and his friends end up taking all your food, your provisions, everything you had on you. And you're stuck there, sitting alone, absolutely nothing. And you think to yourself, "Damn, I should have stayed on that path. I should have kept going to my destination." Now, that's a bit of an extreme story, but I feel like I needed to start off with that to get my point across. So think of your life as that wilderness, and that destination, the destination you were seeking in that wilderness, is where you're trying to get in life. The reason you followed that man, the reason you got jumped, the reason you lost everything you had is because you didn't have a concrete goal. You didn't have a concrete ideal that you were aspiring towards. You didn't have a physical goal that you were trying to achieve. You had no idea to model your life around. So against your better judgment, you ended up following that man, even though in the back of your mind, you knew you shouldn't have. That's simply because without a goal, you don't exactly know where you're going. You have this vague sense, but you'll end up straying from that path every now and then because you don't have a concrete physical ideal, a concrete goal that you're trying to get to. Without goals, you have no control. You're just wandering around aimlessly in the wilderness. I feel like most people generally know where they want to be in life. They all have like this, like that vague sense in the back of your mind. You knew where your destination was, but since it's not concrete, since it's just a vague thought deep within your subconscious, you're not able to act in ways that help you get there, right? And everybody experiences this problem to some extent. I've experienced this problem to some extent. I'm going to tell you a little story about something that happened to me recently, whereas if I had a concrete goal, if I had a concrete ideal, it probably wouldn't have ended up like that. So back before I had officially quit my job, I had this manager, and he and I, we were pretty cool. We were pretty close to each other. So this manager had a truck, and before I had ended up purchasing my own truck, we would used to ride around in his and just do, crazy stuff that, young kids usually do. He'd go drifting in his truck. We'd like run red lights and stuff every now and then, just crazy teenager stuff. But anyway, I gave my truck, and he asked if, he has to teach me how to drift. And so me in my mind, I'm like, bet, I'm about to get fast and furious out here. Even though in the back of my head, I knew probably shouldn't do that, with my truck being old and all. But, I went ahead and did anyway. So we're out in this parking lot. We're drifting around. We're doing donuts in the parking lot. And, eventually my truck ends up stopping. So I get out, pop the hood, find out it's out of oil. And then it starts knocking. And then later on, I found out that I ended up breaking my crankshaft, which for those of you who don't know vehicles, that's a very bad thing. And now I can't use my truck anymore. So the reason that happened, I feel like the reason that I made that decision, knowing full well that's not really what I wanted to do and that it wasn't a good idea, was because I didn't have a concrete goal. I didn't have a concrete ideal. I didn't have anything concrete to model my life around. And so the solution that I came up with to solve this problem only requires something as using a pen and a notebook or a sheet of paper. With this composition book right here and the pencil that I keep inside of it, I ended up changing my life. So in this book, I opened it up to the first blank page that I found, and I wrote out my ideal life. I wrote out the concrete vision. I took the thoughts that were in my mind and I actually ended up putting them on paper. And so the simple act of doing this, the simple act of writing down your ideal life gives you a concrete goal. It's no longer some vague idea or concept within your brain. It actually exists. It's physical. Now you have something actualized that you can model your life around, something that you can use to filter out decisions that you normally would make, decisions that aren't a good idea, decisions that don't get you to where you want to be in life. So I want you, yes, you, the viewer here, to grab a pen and a sheet of paper or a notebook or anything you have to write on. And I want you to think long and hard. And I want you to think about what your ideal life is. I want you to think about where you want to be in life. I want you to think about your goals, your aspirations, the things you want to achieve. And I want you to think, and I want you to write out your ideal life. I want you to write out the ideal lifestyle that you'd like to live 5 to 10 years in the future. So I'm going to read to you all a little bit of what I put in my own writing, in my own notebook. I want to be free. I don't want to have any obligations to a boss or anything like that. Financially, location, and time free. I'd like to be able to wake up, meditate, walk, exercise, etc. without having a care in the world. Choosing my own problems. Solving $1 million problems, not financial ones. That's just the intro to how I want to model my life. Now, don't write down in exactly the same way that I did it. I want you to think about it and write from your own perspective. Write what you truly want. Write your true goals, your true aspirations, what you truly want to achieve deep within inside of your own heart, within inside of your core, from your soul. And once you've finally written it down, once you put it on paper, you've made it concrete, you put it into reality. It's no longer this vague thought. It's no longer this concept floating deep within your subconscious. It exists now. You can model your life based on what you wrote, based on what you physically put into creation. And the beautiful thing about actually writing this down, actually putting it onto paper, is that you can use it to reverse engineer the goals that you're going to have to achieve, the actions that you're going to have to take to get there. If your ideal lifestyle includes financial freedom, then you can reverse engineer that. Okay, well, I need to make money. What are the ways to make money? Oh, I could start a business. I could get into sales. I could start a side hustle. Okay, what do I have to do those things? Well, rather than wasting my time watching YouTube or going on YouTube Shorts, scrolling on Instagram, I should be working towards starting that business. I should be putting in hours, putting in effort to actually getting these things off the ground, to increasing my income. Now, if in your ideal life, one of your goals is to have a tight, close-knit group of companions, of comrades, all driven towards the same goal and same purpose as you, then you should reverse engineer that. And one of your goals should be to become a man worthy of being in a group like that. You have to be physically fit. You have to be financially free. You have to have a strong mindset, discipline. Then you have to go out and find people similar to yourself. When you've written down your ideal life, when you've written down what you truly want for yourself, you can then write out the goals and the actions that it's going to take you to get there. And even if you don't know what exactly it is you want, just write down something, write down anything. Anything is better than nothing. You don't have to get it exactly right. oftentimes you aren't going to get it exactly right. It's probably going to change as you continue to move forward, as you continue to improve. But it's better to be directionally correct than to wander around aimlessly, taking actions that aren't going to get you anywhere, doing things that do not improve you, that do not advance you, doing things that only make you worse, that set you back, that stunts your growth. Rather than that, write down something, anything that sets you off in the right direction, and you can refine that along the way. The most important part is simply getting something down on paper. Then you can reverse engineer your goals and then reverse engineer the actions that it takes you to reach those goals and ultimately reach that ideal lifestyle that you wrote down for yourself. So I encourage you to write down your ideal lifestyle. Write down what you truly want in life, because the most important step is taking action. You're not going to get anywhere unless you actually get out there and do the work, unless you actually do something. You can watch every self-improvement video in the world, but at the end of the day, you're still the same person. You don't change until you actually put that knowledge into action, until you actually act on it, until you actually accomplish something, until you actually do something. Because self-improvement is a never-ending game. There are highs and lows, but steadily and steadily, you'll get higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until you're where you want to be in life, until you've achieved that ideal self. I want you guys to write down in the comments below what one of your ideal goals might be. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Maybe even subscribe if you want more content like this. Let's put the work in. We out.